Brandi Glanville, no one does reality TV like you, and we are so lucky and blessed that you are on another Peacock series so soon after Ultimate Girls Trip Season 2. You're on the Traitors. What excited you most about doing this show? It's kind of insane.
That's what excited me, was that it was a little bit insane. It was kind of, I wanted a do-over for Big Brother because when I did Big Brother, I had never seen the show and I was like a last minute replacement. So I really just kind of went in blind, and I feel like I could have done so much better had I like prepared and watched the show. So they said this is going to be like Big Brother on crack meets Fear Factor in a castle in Scotland. So I'm like, yes, let's do this.
And
Do
like
you
with
feel
Alan Cumming too, which is pretty awesome.
oh yeah, Alan Cumming.
He's a icon. Oh, am I allowed to cuss? Sorry.
I'll bleep you. It's okay.
He's an icon. When they said that, I was like, are you joking? You want me on the show and he's hosting? Yes.
Do you feel like you redeemed yourself in any way from the mistakes you felt you made during Big Brother? Like, did you come into this experience feeling like, yes, I've conquered?
Well, yeah, I had time to prepare. So I read a lot of books about manipulation and how to spot liars. And so I really was like, I'm going into this ready. So yeah, you'll see, I was ready.
I also feel those are books that will help you out for any other reality shows you might do. And they probably could have helped you out a few years ago.
Right. And with my children, I'm like, oh yeah, you're lying. Well, I know when they're lying anyway, which is 95% of the time. So yeah, it definitely it definitely changed my perspective when we were going around the tables and people would just do these little things that I knew was like it's a sign that you're lying or that you're nervous. And it was very interesting.
I also feel like Housewives probably really prepared you for this show. You're probably really, really able to sniff out a fake. How do you think your time doing Housewives did help your approach?
Honestly, Housewives is such a different show. I mean, I think it has turned into a little bit of Big Brother. Like everyone has their final two. Like there's couples. There's Erica and Rinna, and then there's Dorit and Kyle, and Sutton and Garcelle. So it has, I think, gotten a little bit more game showy. And since I've been on it, when I was on it, honestly, it did not. That wouldn't help me with this show because I was just balls to the wall, and I just said what I felt when I wanted to do that. And on this show, that does not help you. You have to be able to keep things under wraps. You have to be able to manipulate and lie. And I was the worst liar on the planet. So
I mean, Kyle Richards says that Brandi Glanville does not lie. So
I know.
Who would your housewife pair, like who would you want to be, like if you were like, okay, all these teams are starting, you said a lot of Beverly Hills, if you could join one, or like who would you want as your duo?
I would say Kyle. Like I mean, just the fact that, she has her two sisters, she's had to deal with her entire life. And that's difficult. I mean, I have a brother and a sister. I'm a middle child. So I navigate the same way she does. So she's very smart. She's an actress. Like you need people that can lie straight to your face. Like she could just say, listen, I'm playing a role, and that's the thing with this show. You're supposed to lie. You're supposed to do all these bad things. So you're not going to get in trouble for it. Like on Housewives, we want to, out the liars and, you want everyone to be honest. On this show, the name of the game is deception.
yeah. What's scarier, trying not to get murdered in a remote castle in Scotland or surviving the wrath of Dorinda Medley at Bluestone Manor?
I mean, I think that Bluestone Manor was a little scarier because that was real. We were not playing a game. It was like, okay, we were all on like level 100 high alert, and it was real. We just came out of COVID. We're in someone's home. She felt disrespected. She also felt like she was the boss of us because we were in her home, and we're like, no, bitch. But I do love Dorinda. We were all like good and made up. And at the time, though, I didn't want to fight. You know what I mean? But you push my buttons and shit happens.
And we see, the buttons get pushed a lot. And Dorinda likes to, I don't know if she pushes or she knocks over buttons. Like it's very forceful when she gets activated.
Yeah, I think she like falls and slurs into the buttons and then, yeah.
What I love too.
No, go ahead, Danny. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, because what I love about Traitors is that, because I mean, you have so many gorgeous ladies on Ultimate Girls Trip and Housewives, but you have some hot guys on Traitors. Was there any, and I know it's hard because you can't trust them. Were you able to flirt with any of them, or can you now? Because at least for me,
I flirted with everyone, but so for me, I didn't trust anyone. But I also knew there was going to be a lot of physical competitions, and the very attractive guys were in very good shape. So I was like, hey, well, let's be best friends. Because I knew when those things came out, I'm like, hey, you're on my team. Get over here. You're on my team. Do you know what I mean? So I think like having a little flirtation wasn't a bad thing. You know, it helped a little bit to get the guys to be on my team.
Who's the hottest guy in the cast?
Oh gosh. I couldn't say. I would say, I mean, Kyle, I don't like blondes. I love Kyle. I just think he's classically good looking. They're all cute. Cody's cute, even though I felt he was shady. Ryan's adorable. He's like a big puppy dog, always happy. Like if you're in a bad mood, find Ryan because he's like laughing about nothing. Reza, obviously, I adore. He doesn't go to my church, so that didn't help me. Just cute. There was a lot. I mean, all the boys are attractive. Well, I'm trying to think of who else was on. I'm like, I blocked it all out.
Well, speaking of hot guys, Brandi, I was listening to your Two Teas in a Pod interview, and apparently there is some Hollywood hunk who you refuse to name, who's given you some good D lately. Are we still getting the D, and are we ready to announce him yet?
I will not be announcing anything. I was just messing with the girls because they were like, they want to know so bad. So I'm like, well, he's blonde and he's kind of brunette and he's kind of got red hair. Like I was messing with them. He's actually not he's like not in the entertainment business. It's just a fling. It's just a fling, and it's hot and it's heavy. And when it's over, it's over. I don't care.
And since you have a Christmas tree behind you, I wonder, and I feel like people are wondering at home, do you get Fling's gifts? Like, are you getting a gift for the man, or is the gift yourself?
That's what so I was thinking about this too. Do I get him something? Because then is that weird if I don't get something in return? Because it isn't serious and we don't really date, we just hook up. Like, I don't know. I ordered something, but you know, Amazon's my best friend right now. I just don't know if I give it to him or not. I don't know. I'm like, but there's plenty of other people I could give it. I could give it to my ex-husband. I could give it, you know, we all do Christmas together. So I have ordered something, but I'm still like on the fence of what do I do?
You want to see if he gives you a gift first and you're like, oh, here you go. Yeah.
I mean, he does owe me a bra. He ripped one of my La Perla bras, which now I only wear cheap lingerie around the kid.
Oh my God, I love that. Well, maybe he's getting some new lingerie for you. That would be perfect.
Putting it out there into the world right now.
You know what I'm putting out into the world, Brandi? And I know you've mentioned that you don't think you're getting your diamond back anytime soon, but I want you back on the show on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I feel like Ultimate Girls Trip season 2 was like everyone's audition to get back on their respective franchises, and everyone has done such a great job. We have Tamra, Vicky, Phaedra might be on Dubai, Dorinda and Jill are probably going to be on Legacy. Like, you have to be next, Brandi.
Well, listen, there's a lot of good things happening in my life. And I do owe a lot of thanks to Mr. Cohen. I can't say, actually, they don't know what's happening with Beverly Hills yet. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm open to it. And I think there's a lot of people that are open to it.
Yeah, well, I think there are constantly calls on social media for you to come back. It almost feels like it would be necessary to sort of like add a jolt to the show, especially after last season. I feel like we're all so tired of what happened last season. It's like we need that new energy, that new vibe, and Brandi, you could be the one.
You could bring the fun back.
I know it was so dark. I'm like, oh my God, are they ever gonna have fun and just like get wasted and do dumb things, or are they gonna fight every single time we're together?
So you think that like this pause little moment for them to regroup is like a good thing for all the ladies?
Yeah, and I also think it keeps them on their toes. Like, you know, some of these women think, oh yeah, I make the show, I'm coming back. That's not how it is. You could be over in a second. Like you know, Andy's allowed to change his mind, and it happens all the time. There's always a shakeup. Look at New York. They're all new. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I think that people are a little sick of watching the same show over and over and over again. So I think there's going to be a shakeup, and we'll see.
What would your ideal of a shakeup be, if you have in mind?
You know, I like the idea of doing like a legacy Beverly Hills. Like, let's have Adrienne Maloof come back and Camille, so that I could yell at her, even though I feel bad for what she's going through right now because her mother just passed. So we don't like each other, but obviously I don't want to wish that for anyone. And just like the OGs, like let's do this again. Let's have some fun. Let's, you know, I don't know. I feel like it's gotten to the point where people are doing what they think they're supposed to do, which is fight at a dinner party.
Yeah. Well, I would love to see a Beverly Hills OG situation happen. And, you know, obviously that I'm curious, how would you describe the current state of your relationships with the Richards sisters? Because it's been so interesting to see the evolution of those relationships with both Kim and Kyle on the show, and, you know, what we hear about what goes on off camera.
So I love all the sisters. I love Kathy. I love Kyle. I love Kim. I was kind of like Kyle's go-between for her and Kim because they were having some issues. So I was like the one that was kind of like, you know, communicating for them. And then Kim and I got in an argument, which I absolutely adore her. And I think COVID had a lot to do with, you know, just our psyche. We were a mess. Like, everyone was like on high alert. Like, everything was like over dramatized. So I pray that we get back to a good place. And, you know, I've reached out, and ultimately I think it will happen. I mean, there's no bad blood. So, you know, I'm good with all of them, and I want them to be good, but, you know, that's not, they're sisters. It's a family dynamic. There's always going to be drama. Like, there's always drama with my brother and my sister and I, and I'm the middle child, so I'm causing a lot of it. Because yeah, like, oh, you were in Southern California and you didn't stop by to see your Aunt Brandi? Yeah, let's have a drama.
If you had been mic'd up for this season, how would you have involved yourself in the Kyle versus Kathy situation? How could you have helped?
I don't think I could. I mean, honestly, like, the sister, you just got to stay out of it, because no matter what, they will always come back together. So if you insert yourself, and I've done this before, it does not end up well for you. Like watch and learn. What happened to me? I got fired.
And I think that's what I kind of like, to your point, that a lot of the women are kind of, I think they are on their toes right now for like, because a lot of people online are saying, because like Dorit was a big inserter with on Team Kyle, and people are, her name comes up a lot on Twitter and etc. of like, will she be back? Will she not? Crystal too. So it is a rocky boat to be on.
Yeah, and I think it's good because a lot of these girls get it in their head that they make the show and they are, you know, the baddest thing in the world. And this is on every franchise. Like, oh, this is my show. Like Lisa Vanderpump used to say, this is her show. And, you know, where is she now?
Not with the diamond in her hand. That's for sure.
I mean,
Probably a dog in her hands.
She's got a lot of diamonds, but not like the one she wants, you know?
Yeah, totally. Now how would you describe the relationship with LVP today? Like, do you run into her at all? Do you ever think about texting her ever?
No. Nope. I texted her when I heard that she fell off her horse, because I mean, obviously, like, we did have a relationship, and you know, there's feelings there. She hurt my feelings. But I think I'm blocked because it was green.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So yeah, but I don't see her because I don't go to her places. I'm pretty sure I would not even get in if I went to Sir or Tom Tom or any of those places. That's just not my jam.
I feel the Vanderpump kids would let you into Tom Tom. I think they would love.
The kids love me. I mean, I get along with all the kids. Like, I say kids are like 40 years old now, but so yeah, no, I like the Toms. I like Sheena. Like, I like Lala. Like, it's not about them. It's about the owner. Yeah.
I was kind of curious about your relationship with Sheena today. How would you describe things, and how did you get to this good place? And how does it feel to be in a good place after everything we saw, like, I don't know, 11, 12 years ago? When was that?
Well, yeah, it was a long time ago. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people are like, oh my God, you guys, I'm like, it's been a fucking decade. So at this point, I get along great with LeAnn. I get along great with Sheena, and probably all the hoes that he, you know, was out and about with. It's just, I'm over it. Do you know what I mean? And it takes two to tango. You can't blame just one person. I mean, I can blame Eddie all I want, but I it took a long time for my broken heart to heal. And, it takes two to tango, and it is what it is. I wish her well. I think that it's great that she has a daughter now and that she's, finally in a good relationship. And I really do think that she's a sweet girl.
Yeah. Knowing what you know now about how you would end up being in a good place with both Sheena and LeAnn, what would you tell the younger version of yourself, when you were angry about both situations?
Nothing. You have to go through what you have to go through. I was pissed and I had every right to be pissed. And like, that's why I am where I am now, because I had that anger for like a decade and I got it all out, and I'm growing, I'm evolving. And, I put the past behind me at this point. It took a while, but you have to go through what you have to go through.
I feel that's an issue a lot of I feel almost particularly the Beverly Hills ladies have, because instead of like ripping the Band-Aid off and letting their emotions fly, they just like have little cracks and then they start digging at people, and then they'll have like an explosion that's not for the reason they're actually upset. I kind of like how like Erica Jane has had 800 meltdowns, but has never once been like, I'm just scared and sad. Like, I feel it kind of, you have more, you need to teach them some healthy coping mechanisms, I think.
Well, I mean, I think that we all have to go through our own. Like, she signed up for daddy life, so that's her reality. She was, taken care of, and she didn't ask questions, and that can make her a little bit of a brat, and so she's going through it the way she's going through it. She's going to watch it back, and she's going to grow and evolve, and eventually, hopefully, she'll get to a spot where she, has some remorse and isn't so angry, because I think that she's angry because she lost her lifestyle. And so I don't think she's like comprehending what's actually happening, outside of her selfishness, which, everyone goes through those.
Do you think she should go? Because she did sign up for daddy life, and then when that gets taken away, that's not fun. Should she go for like granddaddy life next, or should she go a little younger? Like, should she kind of be the mama bear?
Well, I don't think anyone wants to be the mama bear. You know what I mean? That's a little creepy. I mean, I do date a lot of younger guys. Like, I think she needs to get some good D, because daddy life isn't the good D. It's like the good diamonds and the planes and all that stuff. I don't think, you're getting the best D you could be getting.
Mm-hmm. That's real.
Yeah. I feel like, well, you and Erica, you were never full-time housewives at the same time, but I feel like if you were, I feel like there's like a friendship that could happen there. Like, I feel like y'all would get along.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do get along with her. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and, say she's acting right now, but like, we do like each other. We have respect for each other. And I understand why she's so mad. In a lot of ways, I think that the women aren't giving her like she's allowed to go through what she's going through the way she wants to go through it. And you can't say it's wrong, because that's just her way. Like, everything got taken away from her, and that was her entire life. Like, that's what she signed up for. So I feel like, let her go through this. She will grow and evolve, and she will see that she's acting like a brat, but she has to go through it.
And speaking of Bravo ladies that I feel like you would just click with so well, I was so happy to see you're on the Traitors with Kate Chastain, because I feel like you guys, I'm like, how have they not just had a show together? Like, you two just, I feel I feel you guys have a good connection.
I don't talk on the phone to anyone, and her and I talk at least twice a week. And she's hilarious. Like, I say that she's me 10 years ago, because she, baby got put in a corner. So I had to kind of watch my P's and Q's, and I couldn't be yelling at people like I used to, but she gives zero and she lets some people have it in that castle. And they're like, oh, you can't smoke in the castle. She's like, okay, thanks, with her babe. I'm like, well, it's world. We're just living in it. And it was just, I loved it. Like, she's a badass, and I am here for it.
Have you been giving her any mommy advice or anything like that? Or
yeah, a lot of it. And the other day we were on the phone, and I'm like, just don't read the books. It's just, all they do is scare you. But she's like, yeah, well, I guess, I could just, there's probably an app for it, but I guess when you were pregnant, they probably didn't have the internet. I'm like, number one, fuck you. Number two, I'm having champagne right now. Do you hear it pouring? Because you can't have it. And I'm like, yeah, I had to give birth in a cave, Kate. I'm like, and it's not because I couldn't even see what my baby looked like, because we didn't have fire yet. And so we're just like, you know, she was dead serious when she said, like, they didn't have the internet. I'm like, okay, I'm forgiving you and you're an asshole. But no, it's like, we just talk about, we keep it real about pregnancy.
I love that.
I didn't like it. It was horrible.
Yeah. How are your boys today? It's so crazy to see how grown they are.
They're so good. They're little men and they're so helpful. Jake made us dinner last night because I hurt my arm, and that was more of a lie because I didn't want to cook. But I did hurt my arm. I was like, I can't make dinner tonight. I cook 3 times a day. I was just over it because I really didn't want to clean. I'm like, can we go out for dinner? How many people say no to go, like, getting a free meal at a restaurant? My kids, they just want to stay home with me and have me cook and have me clean.
Oh, that's the less all part.
Yeah, but still so sweet, and I love to hear that they're doing great. I also love to hear that the co-parenting situation is all right. It's pretty good. I mean, especially given the LeAnn Rimes of it all. I love that you guys are in a place where you get along, you can have fun together, you can drink, you can laugh, you can kiki. What do you appreciate the most about your relationship with LeAnn today?
Just that we can get along, honestly. And it's not about like trying to piss the other person off, using the kids to piss the other person off. Like, we've grown, we're both a lot more mature now. We're not trying to jab at each other, but we did raise these children together for the past decade. So, you know, we can sit and we can kind of like complain about what they do and what they're not doing. And I don't know, it's nice. It's like, it's a team, it's a village. So it takes us all. And then we can talk about Eddie. That's fun. I'm like, he's so annoying right now. I'm putting the money I was going to spend on him, I'm putting it into LeAnn's present because I wanted to get her this eye thing that I got myself that I really like. So he's not getting a present unless I decide to give him the present I got for the D guy.
Okay, it's kind of on that on back burner just in case. Yeah.
I love
And
that.
you're like, this is for the guy who I'm getting great from, but you can have it, Eddie.
Right. And that's not you. That sounds weird. But yeah, it's not a present that has anything to do with sex. So that's good. So it's not going to be weird for me to give that to him if I decide to.
How does Eddie manage to still piss you off or annoy you today?
That's his #1 favorite thing to do. Yeah. If he's in a bad mood, he likes to push my buttons and he knows exactly what buttons to push. I'm like, okay, so you must be pissed off about something and you want to fight with me. Yeah. And so it's stuff about the kids and, like, you know, we don't always agree on how to parent. We live in 2 separate households. We have 2 separate kind of set of rules, which I feel like we should try to agree on one set, but you know, we can't always do that.
Oh.
Yeah. Wait, I'm just curious. What's your favorite LeAnn Rimes song?
I don't listen to country music, but I do think she's a great singer. I mean, I watched her on Masked Singer. I knew it was her immediately. I'm like, that's Lee. I know that voice. And they're like, no, it's not. My kids are like, we would know it. They actually had no idea. I'm like, you guys, that is your stepmom. You've heard her sing a million times. Do you not know? And then of course she won. And you know, I was like, yeah, you guys are stupid.
I feel like you were definitely a Coyote Ugly fan though.
No.
No?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't like Piper, whatever she's been.
Oh.
Wait, you don't like her on screen or you don't like her as a person?
I don't like her as a person. And
what inspired that?
Oh, because I think she my husband.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
What? Okay, hold up. What makes you think Piper Perabo effed Eddie?
Well, they did a movie together, and Mason was 1 year old, and I went to the set. It was in another country, Romania, I think, and she was a horrible to me, and she was flirting with Eddie, like, right in front of me. They were like, I was like, am I here? Am I the only person? Like, what is happening? And, you know, I left, and then I had made friends on set, and I heard a lot of things.
And I mean, the show she's famous for is Covert Affairs, so she's used to having covert affairs. So
right, and then it's kind of ironic that she was in Coyote Ugly with LeAnn. I'm like, oh gosh, they shared the same D.
Oh, that
wow. They had the poster up in their house for a while. I'm like, you might want to take that down, girl.
That is like my mind. You just blew my mind, Brandi Glanville. Okay, so wait, so you made friends on set. They were telling you things. What was like the most alarming thing you heard?
That Piper and Eddie were.
Oh, just point.
How did you deal with it?
I tried. I was like, when he got home, I'm like, I'm leaving, blah blah. Like, I'm out, and he convinced me that it wasn't true. And we had a 1-year-old son, and he's the love of my life at the time. And there was a lot of convincing me of things that, oh, you're just crazy, you're just jealous, that whole deal. And I'm like, all right, I was in love. Like, I was blindly in love with the man.
Yeah. And also you had a new family together that you wanted to try, I'm sure, to keep together.
Of course.
Brandi, you have been through so much. I just commend you for being such a strong person and getting through it. I don't think that people give you enough credit for everything that you went through during those early days of starting a family. So I want to give you props.
I was honestly thinking I was a badass bitch. Like, the second he left, I did this Christmas card and I was looking for it because it was 2009, and it was me and Jake and Mason and all of our little booties, and we're like lighting the Christmas tree. It said, leaving 2009 far behind. I was like, I did that when I was like at my most broken, sent it out to everyone. I had to blur Jake's little pee, so I got in a little trouble for that because I'm not the best Photoshopper, and like 12 years ago, definitely not. But I wanted to like repost it and I can't find it, but I know it's around somewhere. But my kids like saved my life. If I didn't have the kids, I would be in a straitjacket somewhere.
Yeah.
And it shows how much you love I feel like every single person knows how much you ride for your kids, and that like you're just such a good mom and so supportive with them too and everything like that. So it really is so admirable and impressive to watch you from the past decade on just like continue to thrive, which is great.
Thank you. I'm excited. Somebody was like, why, like, are you going to do reality shows forever? Like, you've done so many, like, stop doing them. And I'm like, that's like telling Nicole Kidman, you've done so many movies, stop doing them. Like, I'm really good at being real, and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to do this.
Are absolutely the Nicole Kidman of the reality TV world. I'm
Yes!
just 100%. And as the Nicole Kidman of the reality TV world, Brandi, I just recently rewatched the first 3 seasons of Beverly Hills. And I gotta say, I've always been Team Brandi, but with reflection, it's kind of crazy that there was a portion of Bravo fans who were not Team Brandi, because you dealt with some really mean girl behavior that I don't think would fly if that had premiered in 2022. I just kind of want to know your thoughts. Like, how do you process the behavior that you experienced during your first few seasons of Beverly Hills Housewives? And like, do you think it would be received differently today?
Oh, I absolutely think it would be a completely different situation today. The mean girl behavior is no longer tolerated. The cancel culture, all of these things that I actually kind of went through, there's just no way. I can't even watch those seasons because it was really, really hard. Honestly, I'm like, what is happening? I would like go home and cry and be like, why are these grown ass women so horrible? It was like middle-aged gang mentality. And by the way, I'm a single mom. I'm going through this crazy divorce. I have enough on my plate. But I think it's like when there's a new girl, you kind of go after that person because you don't want to share your own problems. There's a lot of deflection. And that still happens today because it's easier to go after one person than talk about what's going on with you. So I feel like that kind of happens every season. Like, okay, who are we going to take down now?
You see that it does feel like a smart calculation, because there are some people I feel you watch on these shows, you're like, oh, you've been on for 5 years and I don't know a single thing about your life.
Right?
It's really weird. Yeah.
I know that you yell at a lot of people and you call people on their shit, but what about you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What pushed me over the edge watching those seasons back was the crutches. I was so angry. I was so angry. Oh my God. I could just like burst.
Oh my, I looked at the producer, like, and I'm like, help. And they're like, they don't exist. They're there with their cameras, but they don't talk back to you. They don't like, I'm like, I'm standing with a cast and a high heel on. I'm like, I need to leave. I want to go. And they don't help you. And that was a big awakening for me, because I just thought like, okay, somebody will get my crutches.
Yeah.
And then also seeing how Dana Wilkie reacted in that moment and how she was so like up Kyle's butt was just like so frustrating and cringy. What do you think about Dana Wilkie today? Because she's still kind of cringy.
Pam, it just needs to let it go. Like, that's all. Like, she's Pam to me forever. She's constantly talking about every single person's like drama on TV. Like, she knows them personally and she doesn't. And I just feel like, oh, go away.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
She's been there longer, and like, had she been on for a decade, like, I understand wanting to talk about that. She was on for like one season as a friend of, like, go away.
She had one gif, and she's running with that gif to the end of time.
$25,000.
Yeah, wait, Brandi, I'm curious. You are very tight with Tamara these days, especially after doing Girls Trip. And Taylor made the jump, the historic cross-franchise jump to Orange County. You have history with Taylor, you're besties with Tamara, you know Vicky. Could you ever see yourself maybe joining the Orange County cast? It's just only a few hours below you.
No, not ever. I don't do Orange County. It is just, it's like the Iron Curtain. I'm not going there.
But I also do think that you would be a great addition to that cast. I think you would like really shake it up and just make it.
Because I think they need someone there to call some people on some bullshit. And like also because
she, according to her, she's letting a lot of people have it. So I'm excited to watch. But I told her, I said, girl, I'm gonna have an opinion on you because I've been doing my podcast for so long. And if I'm gonna let you know if you're like acting out. I have to be just honest with it.
Because it does almost seem like, because it is an interesting franchise. That is the one where now that Heather is back, it's kind of like, okay, class is in session. Heather is here. This is how, like, she's almost like slipping like sheets of like, this is how I want this scene to go. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it is a little bit like uptight, let's just say.
Yeah. You mentioned, I think it was on Two Teas in a Pod, that, you know, at one point you worshipped LVP and that you kind of fell in line for her during your early seasons on Beverly Hills. Do you feel like maybe Gina and Emily do that for Heather?
Yeah, I do think, you know, if there's somebody that is like very popular or very well known on the show, and they can manipulate and make you think, like LVP made me think that I was there because of her. Like, that's why I had my job. And if I stuck with her, I would continue to have my job. And when that gets in your head, like you do kind of ride for this person, even if it's not the right thing to do. And, you know, there's some intoxication, like with LVP, like everything about her was so amazing. Like, she's beautiful, this big house. Like, I mean, I loved her and I looked up to her and I thought like she was the greatest thing in the world. And then I learned that I was just a pawn.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I feel like a lot of people have that realization about LVP.
I was gonna say, and she got hers. I feel people are kind of now everyone's like, okay.
Yeah. She has her restaurant, she has her show. Like, I don't know if Vanderpump Rules is on anymore, but I don't really need that show right now because I'm watching that Southern Hospital. Love it.
Good, huh?
Everyone's hot, everyone's young. It's like what Vanderpump Rules used to be, and I'm dying for it. I love it.
I love every single one person on it. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite cast member?
I like the girl that's like in her, like, she's nuts. She's the brown-haired girl that's always taking pictures of herself just because she's like, I'm a star. Hello. Like
Matt.
It's like Ramona-esque. Like, she has no self-awareness and she's gonna say whatever she wants. And then I hope she stays that way. Some people, like, they watch themselves back and they change, but I like that oblivion. I wish I could live in that for a day.
It's, oh God, right. And it's kind of cool too, because Leva's kind of becoming, I feel like she's like the younger, nicer LVP too. Cause like, she's just like this boss in her own right. And it is really cool to see that show of hers.
No, I'm loving it for sure.
Well, wait, speaking of Ramona and being delusional, what are your thoughts on Ramona leaving Roni officially and saying it was her choice?
Well, I don't think it was her choice, honestly. Like, they tell us we can say whatever we want. We don't have to say we got fired. We can say, you know, it was a mutual decision. We can even say we left on our own. Like, that's something that they tell us. They're not going to go and ever say, nope, yeah, you know, we fired her. Like, that's an option. And just to be nice, I mean, eventually I was like, yeah, I left. And I'm like, fuck it, I got fired. This is what it is. I'm just not going to lie anymore. I think we get Ramona, like, we've had enough of it. We know she lives in Ramona's world and we get it. I'm glad that she's in love and she's, you know, she's definitely she's the one person that really never changed. She just has always been 100% herself.
For better or for worse, she has maintained.
For worse, there's like zero self-awareness, but I think that's interesting to watch. Like, how does that even happen?
Having a closer view at the Beverly Hills ladies over the past decade plus, who do you think has changed the most because of the show? Anyone who's still on the show? Anyone who's no longer on the show? Like, who do you think?
I mean, I think that Kyle's loosened up a lot. Like, I'm finally like happy that she's getting drunk on camera. Because a lot of the ladies wouldn't drink. Like, I was drinking, we all know that, but they would like fake drink. And I'm like, why are we doing that? What's the point of that? That's not fun. And I think that they're finally like letting their guard down and just kind of loosening up. And, you know, we see like the sides of her that are like a little bit sloppy on occasion. And I like that. I don't want everyone to feel like they have to be so guarded. And Erica too. I love that Erica's getting drunk too. Finally.
Yes.
It makes them more endearing and more like layered as people. Cause I'm like, oh, now I can picture hanging out with you versus you just being like, here is my clothing line. And I'm like, what's happening?
Right. And that's the thing about you, Brandi. It's like I always wanted to hang out with you because you presented as if you were always having a great time on the show. Like, so
right,
yeah,
right. I was. A lot of times I was drinking because that was my only friend in the room was my Chardonnay because it was rough. You know what I mean? Walking into like some of the things where everyone doesn't like you is not always fun. So Chardonnay became my bestie.
Yeah, I love that. Wait, you also mentioned, sorry, I keep going back to Two Teas in a Pod because it was just so good. But you mentioned how you and Yolanda had a great friendship and a lot of what you experienced together didn't make it onto the show. How are things with Yolanda today? Because I feel like we don't hear too much about her unless it's about like Gigi and Zayn and all that.
Yeah, I don't. So we just keep in touch, like on the holidays and birthdays, we'll like text each other, like, how are you? I think she's really happy to be out of the limelight. And that's the impression I get. Like, she just is living her best life in Pennsylvania on her farm, like just being the nature girl that she is. You know, it's really hard to be, you know, in this position where everyone has an opinion on you, and now her daughters too. And I think, you know, she's just living her best life, like out of the limelight.
Yeah. I mean, well, speaking of her daughters and the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, that clip of her telling Gigi to only eat a few almonds if she's hungry went viral again this year. And of course, she responded in a funny TikTok of her own. As the mother of a model herself now, what are your thoughts on the almonds advice?
So here's the thing. I modeled most of my life. So did Yolanda. And that is what your agents tell you. They really, I mean, I was told I was overweight and I weighed 109 pounds. So it's really a mind and it's not, it's just something they drive this insecurity in you. And so when you, I mean, I don't think it was right what she said, but like, that's what we're told, you know, our entire modeling careers. Never say how old you are because you're always too old. Even when you're 17, you have to say you're younger. You're always too fat. Like, it's just, it's embedded in us. Like, and I make sure not to do that to my children. But you know, like when you have young daughters and they want to model, like we're just doing what we were told ourselves. So I felt bad for that situation. Is it right to say it? No, but she's just saying what she was taught.
Mm-hmm.
Right. True. And that's another thing that you went through, Brandi, the trauma of being a teen model.
God, yeah, you have lived lives.
You have lived all the lives.
Fun.
Yeah, wow. Brandi, I seriously, I feel like we could talk to you for like hours and hours. We've taken up so much of your time and we really, really appreciate you. It's so great to catch up with you. You are truly an icon of reality TV and it is a blessing that you have graced our podcast. Seriously.
Oh, thank you. And make sure to watch Traitors because you're going to see a very sober side of me because they did not give us alcohol until I lost my mind. I'm like, I need one glass of wine right now. We're in a house, so give me a glass of wine.
Well, they're like so whiskey in Scotland or something. Yeah.
The first episode, you were like, where's the bar? Is it a real one?
Yeah, and it wasn't. Oh, wait, you said there was going to be a bar, but the alcohol's all fake. What did I sign up for? I told Kate, it's like trauma bonding. We were both like, where is the alcohol?
So, thank God she had her vape.
Yeah, right? I'm like, what? I didn't bring a vape. So
should have brought little airplane nips.
Yeah, I don't. Well, they went through, like when we got there, they went through all of our luggage and took everything away that could possibly be any fun.
Oh, any fun, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah.